Hey everyone, and welcome back to FSI DFS. I am McKinley412, and with this video, we're going to be looking at this 5-game early slate on DraftKings. Make sure you're always keeping up to the minute with any weather changes that might be happening, any COVID-related news, late scratches, and all of that. The games, it's only 5-gamer, but the start times are pretty spread out here, which is, less unfortunate. I do want to apologize. Back on Thursday, I said there was going to be a main slate video for the night slate, and there was. I recorded it, I uploaded it to video, to the studio, it's in the drafts, and then I completely never clicked publish. So it's actually still sitting there. I found it last night, and it was just like, dang it. So I do apologize for that. It had Stripling on the front, the cover, which makes it even more frustrating because he did so well. But there will be a main slate video tonight. I can promise you that. I will click the publish button this time. So let's focus back to the slate here, though, and we'll go through the pitchers, and then we'll go through the games, and we'll be on our way. Carlos Rodon, right up at the top here, 10.5K. Before we get too far into this, the Toronto-Boston game, it's first game of a doubleheader, so it's only 7 innings. There's that. So Carlos Rodon, he's top pitcher on the slate. He has the highest strikeout rate on the season. He's got the highest strikeout rate over the past couple of months. Past 2 starts, though, have been a little bit concerning. I know there's been talk this season about his workload and, him getting later into the season, just like how much he has pitched because he is going deep into games. And is he slowing down possibly? I don't know. It was just 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago that he put on nearly 40 DK points against Houston in their offense. So it could just be 2 low games, and he's going to bounce back here against the Cubs team, who is fairly weak. I mean, given all the trades that just happened, they lost their 3 big bats. So I think he's still the number 1 pitcher on the slate. I don't think that you want to fade him at all, but it is something that we do need to be paying attention to if this is a continuing trend for him, just with his workload and possibly not getting the greatest starts. Robbie Ray, we mentioned this is only a 7-inning game, so it doesn't affect him too much. Maybe he only goes 6 innings instead of like the possible 7 that he goes oftentimes. He's going up against Boston. He's had mixed results against Boston 3 times this season, averaging 20 points in them. But one of them was just a 7-inning or a 7-point 2 weeks ago. So, he has seen this offense a lot post All-Star break as his 4th start and his 3rd one against Boston. So I'm not sure what to really expect here. He was on a tear back through June of just like double-digit strikeouts. We haven't seen that recently. Boston already doesn't strike out often as a team. Ray's left-handed. Boston's best bats are right-handers, so that he's got that going against him as well. I'd still take Rodon over Ray. I don't think Ray's a fade by any means, but again, it is a 7-inning game, and the strikeouts just haven't been there, and he has a tough matchup for sure. Heaney for New York. He's traded to New York, so he is still familiar with Seattle. He sees them all the time, but I think Heaney's more of a GPP guy. He's always been a GPP guy for me. His floor is very low. His ceiling, though, is pretty good. He has that double-digit upside in strikeouts, but there can be games where he's only going to get you 3 strikeouts. He's got a favorable matchup here. He should be in line for the win. New York, they have that powerful offense now. So I do like Heaney a little bit, but it's mainly just for GPP. I do like 2 guys below him a little bit better, though, if you're looking for cash. First guy is McGill. I do like him more than Heaney. I know he really burned a lot of people in his last start out, giving up 4 earned runs. But those 4 earned runs were on a grand slam at the top of the 1st inning, and that was that. After that went through, he pitched 4 or 5 innings of shutout baseball, and he did really well. So it was really impressive of him to have that rattle him in the 1st inning, and then just kind of regroup himself and go on with half a game of scoreless innings. scoreless pitching. So I do like McGill here going up against Philadelphia. Philadelphia offense, we know what they can do. They were really struggling for a little bit there, but they seem to be bouncing back. But still, regardless, I think McGill is a nice option at 8.5K if you want to get a little cheaper. Cole Irvin going up against Texas, a nice left-hander against Texas. And what I say about that is, let's go over to Fangraphs here. I got the splits already pulled up. So team batting against left-handed pitching. The date I put, post All-Star game. So this is the first game after the All-Star break, or should have been. It was canceled for COVID, but July 15th. And we'll scroll down here. And the worst team in the majors post All-Star break against left-handed pitching is far and away, it's not even close, Texas. They do not draw any walks, 5%. Their ISO is 0.082, WRC plus of 32. I think that's the lowest I've ever seen all season long of an at least 2-week sample size. So that means, 100 is average. That means that they are 68% worse than the average team against left-handed pitching. Batting average 172. It is just amazingly bad. So Irvin, he's in a very favorable matchup. I know he hasn't put up the numbers that a lot of us want, but 7.5K, he's not going to burn you with salary. I think he's in a great spot here at home, probably in good line for the win, especially with the pitcher on the other side of the mound. So at 7.5, I like Cole Irvin way better than I do like HEANEY, and way better, maybe not way better, but better than I like McGill. So I like Irvin. He's probably my favorite mid-tier spot here. Flexen, I think, is very interesting in GPP formats. Going up against the Yankees. We know the Yankees and their offense now. But a lot of the Yankees, and I've talked about this in previous videos, the Yankees smash left-handed pitching. Let me see. We'll go through the splits here. Where's the top? Yeah, so they're doing really well against left-handed pitching. 270 average, top 6 team, as you can see here. But if you flip that around, and we'll just keep it with post All-Star break, we'll go to right-handed pitching just to see. I haven't looked this up. Hopefully I'm right. So WRC plus, we'll scroll down. Yes, they're not a top 6 team. Oh, here you go. They're a bottom 6 team against right-handed pitching. So they strike out more against right-handed pitching than they do left-handed pitching. They just don't hit the ball nearly as well. So flexing a right-hander, he's got that going for him already. And he has shown that he has some decent potential. He's kind of shut down Tampa Bay. He shut down the Angels and their offense twice back in July. Texas, Texas is terrible. I just mentioned that, but 35-21. Like, he's got great numbers here. He's got 10 wins on the season. So I think for like a deep GPP, I'm not saying he's my first GPP target, but for a deep GPP, I think he's a very intriguing pitcher down in this range. So that I don't have any interest in, especially going up against Toronto and those bats. Alzolay, we talked about the struggles that the White Sox have had, but Alzolay's had his own struggles, letting up. He's the guy that's been letting up multiple home runs, and who knows how many. I think it's 6 of 8, but he's 0-0 there. But we know the power that the White Sox bats can have, so I'm kind of off him here. Suarez has pitched really well this season, and they're starting to make him a starter. He was a bullpen guy. They're starting to work him out to become a starter and get that pitch count up. But still, I think he might only go like 3-4 innings. So at 5.7K, it's a little higher than I want it to be. He's going up against the Mets. Solid option. So I think I'm going to be off him just because, he's not going to go deep into the game. He might only get three innings again. Say he walks a couple of guys, or, he goes deep into counts on a couple of batters, and, he might only get 40 to 50 pitches in this start. So I'm going to be kind of off him, but if you want to take a dart at it, go for it. Anderson, he's only pitched 4 innings this season. No earned runs against. That's a positive. But if you look at his total career logs, he has an ERA north of 8 in his career in the big leagues. It's over like 36 innings, so it's still a small sample size, but he's not a great pitcher going up against Oakland. So that kind of covers the pitchers here. I mean, Rodon, top option. Ray, I think he's very intriguing as well. Just 7-inning game, tough matchup. Heaney, GPP, McGill, I think he's fine for cash, but I do like Cole Irvin way better just because he's going up against that Texas offense, and that offense can't do anything against left-handed pitching. Flexen, very intriguing GPP option, and everybody else just kind of, eh. So let's look to the bats. Yankees, talked about the Yankees. I think they have the highest implied run total on the slate here, but they are going up against Flexen, a right-hander. They do struggle against right-handed pitching. I'm not saying they're a bad team and you should fade them. Like, definitely have interest in this team for sure. Guys like Gallo, guys like Rizzo. I mean, even Stanton is still too cheap at 4.3K with his power. I think he's definitely somebody that you got to be looking at as well. So Yankees, high implied run total. I don't think they're the best offense here. We know the duds that they can throw up. But yeah. Seattle on the other side going up against Heaney. Like I said, Heaney, he's boomer bust. He can really shut down the Seattle team. Or he can have one of his floor games and just really struggle. In that case, I'm kind of looking at guys like Torrens. I'm definitely looking at Haniger, Toro, JP Crawford. Those would kind of be the 4 guys that I would be looking at there. Chicago White Sox versus Chicago Cubs. No interest in the Cubs going up against the White Sox here. The White Sox going up against Alzolay. Their pricing has gone down a little bit here, just with how much they have struggled hitting the bats or hitting the ball. Anderson and Abreu still your 2 top dogs, but point per dollar wise, they've just really been struggling. It's tough to pay 5.5 and 5.6 for them. But still, their power going up against a guy who lets up a lot of home runs is definitely intriguing. But if I was looking at the White Sox, they got a lot of nice, cheap options down here. Vaughn at 2.8K, Goodwin at 2.9K. Those are 2 great value plays if you want to get to them today. And yeah, I mean, Eloy Jimenez at 4.6. That's not a bad play either, but still. Boston, Toronto, like I said, this is just a 7-inning game, so I don't have too much interest from the bats in the first place, just because it's a 7-inning game. And then you got Robbie Ray on one side, so that kind of lowers Boston even more. And then Pivette on the other side. Toronto's fine. Let me get all the hitters. They're pricey. It's just tough to fit them in, especially if you're throwing in Rondon at 10.5K. So, Springer, he'd be my top option, but he's still 5.K. That's tough. If you want a cheaper play, Gurriel at 3.8K. He's got excellent numbers against right-handed pitching. So if you want to go there, he's probably got nice RBI potential, hitting behind. He's typically in the 6th spot, so he could be hitting behind like Vlad and Teoscar Hernandez and Bichette and all those guys in there. So he could be intriguing. But 7-inning game, bats are going to be losing in at bat. So that's that kind of stinks. Mets in Philadelphia. Mets, I mentioned that Suarez, he's been pitching really well. But again, he's going to be on a pitch count. They're kind of stretching him out. He might only go 3, possibly 4 innings here. And then he gets that Philly bullpen, and that Philly bullpen is not very good. So if, I think the Mets could make for a very intriguing GPP play, just because they see Suarez numbers. They think maybe, he's going a little deeper into the game, not too interested in him. But again, they can do some damage against that Philly bullpen, and they are very, very affordable here. Baez is 5.5, but everybody else, you can easily fit them into your lineups without any issue. I did see some possible rain concerns with this game, but just, pay attention to the weather. I know it's going to be tough with the times spread out over 3 hours, even on such a small slate, but, give yourself some wiggle room. Philadelphia on the other side, I mentioned McGill. He's been pitching really well. He had that one inning against Miami, and that just derailed his entire let me pull up this thing. That just derailed his entire game log, but still, it was 1 inning, and that was it. He pitched shutout ball after that, and then 1 inning here, or 1 earned run in this game. 0, 0, 1 earned run, 1 earned run. Like, he's good. So I'm not too thrilled with the Philadelphia bats. Obviously, you'd be going with the Philadelphia lefties, but still, they got some banged up guys. You want to make sure you're paying attention to the lineups. Hopefully, we can get this lineup out before the New York Seattle game. But I'm not in. Sorry, I'm talking faster than my brain's working. Philadelphia GPP for me. I don't have too much interest in their bats. Texas, 0 interest in their bats. You saw the numbers that I posted earlier. On the Oakland side, I said Anderson. He's got a career ERA over 8 in the big leagues. It's over like 30 some innings. So it's not a great sample size. He's pitched 4 innings this season. He's got shutout ball going on. But still, I think Oakland is probably one of your better offenses on the entire slate here. It's your usual guys. Marte, you're looking at Canha. Olsen's a lefty against righty here. But Olsen's kind of a reverse split batter. He hits better against left-handed pitching than he does right-handed pitching. So he wouldn't be my first guy in. But Marte, Canha, Laureano, idiot, suspended, just so stupid. Lowry, I've always been a fan of Lowry. I feel like he's just a guy that I've always been a fan of him. He's done well. He just never seems to let me down when I put him into my lineups here. So I got to wrap things up. I like Oakland, New York Yankees, White Sox, Oakland. I think those are like the 3 top offenses on the slate here. Boston, Toronto, it's tough. 7-inning game, decent pitching on one side. Seattle, I think, makes for a very intriguing GPP. Mets for GPP as well, and that kind of wraps it up. So good luck in your contest this afternoon. I will have another video out for the main slate, so make sure to check that one out as well. Hit that subscribe button, thumbs up. As always, good luck in your contest, and we will see you in the next video.